Hey everybody, hope you're having a good day. Recovered from Christmas well, I hope. We're having some interesting weather here. So we had a day or so of some warmer than normal weather, and a bunch of our snow has melted off. See if I can get some of it here. There's actually very little left. Pastures are almost bare. Could be a good thing, could be a bad thing, who knows. It's getting colder again now, so but still pretty mild for this time of year. Anyhow, so we had a little warmer weather, a lot of wind, and that really helps, as the snow melts, it just evaporates the moisture, and so everything's pretty dried out and cleared out here. So I just wanted to do a real quick video this morning I had a while back made a video on the maintenance of our outdoor wood boiler. And so I'm going to kind of do a video, if I can, real quick here more about what it is, how it works, at least to the best of my understanding. I am by no means any expert on this thing, and we've used it 2 full winters. We're coming into our 3rd winter of using it, still learning things about it every day. So with that in mind, I'm just going to explain it to the best that I understand and the best that I've seen, how it works. So this is what we have. It's called the Johnson. That's the manufacturer. I don't know exactly for sure. I think we have the bigger of they made 2 models. I think we have the bigger of the 2. But basically what this is a wood stove. Right there where it says Johnson is the door where you would load your wood. Inside is, I think the door opening is a little over 2 foot by 2 foot square. And inside is much larger than that. It's at least 3 foot by 3 foot. And they call it a jacketed stove. So what that is completely all the way around it is a tank that the water circulates in. So as the fire burns on all sides, that water is being circulated through there and it's heating the water. And then this in turn pumps the water. It's going to be really hard for me to show you here. Anyhow, there's the tubing comes out the back of the stove here, and you can see those pipes. It's insulated. It goes underground, and then it goes across this space. I can't get in there. This is kind of our goat pen area, but I'd have to walk all the way around. But say hi, Daisy. That's Daisy, our doe that we hope is pregnant. And then that would be Maxwell, or Max, a little buckling that hopefully is the father. Should give us some cute little goats. Anyhow, if you can see over there by that other gate, there's a little wood box that kind of comes out of that's the garage of the house. 1 set of pipes go in there. The garage is actually heated from this stove, and then it continues past that over to our basement, and the 2nd set of pipes go down into the basement. So what we have here, you open this door up, this is your control panel. This switch here basically turns the stove, the fan part of the stove, on and off. It is currently off right now. The light, when it's on, that lets you know that the stove is off. So what that means right now is it would just burn, it could just go out because there's no fans to keep the fire going. I did that because it was running when I came out here. It's really loud sometimes, the solenoids, and I can't shoot videos. So this is the water temperature gauge. During the cold of winter, I bump it up and set it around 180 to 190 degrees for the water temp. The last few days, like I said, has been real mild, so I've turned it down a little bit to 160. This is the actual, what they call an aquastat. This is where you would set the temperature. This is the sight gauge that I talked about in the maintenance video. It's hard to tell in the video, but that discoloration, it's kind of pink. That's the chemical we add to the water to prevent rust and stuff from, getting in the tank. You want that full to the top, which it clearly is. As soon as I see a little bit of air up here, a little drop in the water, I add water to this, and it'll hold quite a bit beyond this in the top of the tank and up in the pipe. So, and I've had some suggestions on how I can get it to hold even more water without a major mod, just by putting a little extended pipe on the fill pipe. Anyhow, take a look inside the stove. They recommend you pull this lever. This is a bypass to let the exhaust smoke go out through the chimney while you open the door. Mine doesn't seem to work great. I don't know if that's just how they all are or if there's something wrong with mine. Again, we inherited this with the property, with the house. I'm learning a lot about it, so I'm learning that some things were broken on it. I've got some parts coming that from my other video people pointed out I was missing. I may be missing something on this. It just doesn't seem, when it's really burning, it doesn't seem like it does anything when I open and close it. Anyhow, this is the firebox. Pretty large, as you can see. It's basically, and like I said, this is a water tank. So on top, bottom, sides, and if I understand it right, even the back. But I know for sure the sides and top is where the water gets circulated around. I don't want to misspeak and say that it's on every side because I don't know that for sure, but it's what they call a jacketed unit. Right now, that's pretty low on wood. Like I said, we're not needing a lot of heat, so I'm trying to conserve wood, not burning a lot. As we get into our really, really cold weather, like where it's never, you know, like daytime highs 10, overnights below 0, this would be a little fuller. But I have learned this year, and from people's suggestions, not to overfill it. That actually draws heat out of the water, thus making it have to work harder to heat the water back up. Ideally, I just build like a layer right there. I never get much more than that. And so far, that's been working really, really well. We've done well this year on our wood usage. It's been a little milder, that's probably part of it, but I think this burning differently has helped. And then there's another door right here. This one's a little harder for me to open. Hold on just a sec, I'll show you. That door is really tight because of I replaced the seal this year and it was a little oversized. Anyhow, hard to see in there, it's pretty dark, but this is just where the ash drops from the stove up above, and it makes for a real easy clean out. I've got this special shovel that's built just for this purpose. It fits right in that groove like that, and then you run it in and it pulls out a scoop full of ash. It's a little messy, but it beats the alternative, which would be having to dig ash out from up here, which kind of would mean you'd have to let the fire go out, rebuild the fire, start all over. The other advantage, you can see on this door, there's a blower mower under there. A hole right there. So, when the blowers kick on, it feeds air from underneath your fire. And then this door, that's where the blower in the door comes out. When it kicks on, it feeds air on the top of the fire, making everything burn hot and fast. Gets the temp up where you want it, and then when it shuts down, there's little dampers on those blowers that shut and help stop the draft, and then everything just kind of chokes down and smolders until it's called for again. That's one of the things that somebody pointed out. My top blower is missing that damper. I have ordered it from the manufacturer. Should get that put in a week or two. That should help some of our burn rate and definitely our water usage. That's the other thing. My water used to seem like I was adding all the time. So far this year hasn't been bad since I've been adjusting the temps. The problem is that when it's mild out, and by mild I mean around 30 degrees, if you leave that like at 190, the stoves can actually get hotter than that by, you know, after it shuts down and that fire is still going, because it's not cold enough to suck that heat out, and then you end up approaching boiling temps. I don't know that we've ever actually had a full boil over, like hitting, you know, boiling temperature, but I have seen it get up like 200, 205, and you'll just see steam coming out the fill spout, because it's not a closed system, it's an open system, which means I'm losing water. And then once it cools all down, the water level will drop, and I got to add to it. The dampers not being there can cause that because the fire keeps pulling a draft even after the blower shuts off. So that should help stop that once I get that part put in. And it may also affect some of our wood usage because the wood will stop burning quicker. We'll see. So anyhow, that's the stove. The other video I did kind of shows the basic maintenance that we do for it. That kind of shows you, you know, how the fire works, what's going on, and all that. So this is the unit inside the house, and this part here is, I don't know the actual terminology, I just call it the boiler. That is a gas unit. There's a switch here on the wall where I can switch over from wood to gas or shut the whole system down 100%, no power to anything. So if there was some kind of emergency or some reason that we couldn't feed the wood stove, ran out of wood, or somebody's gone, injured, whatever, you can flip that switch and run it on propane, which we have a 1,000-gallon tank outside. So as you can see, there's all these pipes. That red thing, that's a pump that flows the water. It took me a little bit of following pipes and figuring out what everything was. It's not really that self-explanatory, obviously. So right here, this hole in the wall where those two pipes coming in, that is coming from outside at the wood stove. That's the hot water coming in. One goes up to this heat exchanger that's behind. There's this little wooden box here holding it. You can see that silver, that's a heat plate exchanger. And then one goes down. This is a heat exchanger of sorts. Now this unit is not in use, this one down here, and it actually is for the hot water tank, for our domestic hot water to use to shower and stuff like that. The previous owner never, it's plumbed, it could work according to him, but there's no pump on it. That is something I plan on doing this spring probably. Once we shut the system down, I'll locate a proper pump for that, and I'm going to try, not year-round use in the beginning, but at least through the winter to see how much we can serve, because our our hot water tank is heated by propane also. So it's got, I'm assuming, some type, probably like a radiator style exchanger in there, and then those lines coming in and out actually go through the wall here and go over to where the hot water tank is. So here at this plate exchanger, you've got water coming in at the top, and it comes back out at the bottom, and it's kind of hard to see, but it goes into the bottom of this exchanger, and then it's pushed back up and it goes back outside. That completes the circuit there. That water is in its own system. It always stays with the stove. It is not the water that's running through my house. These two pipes on the right, there's one at the top here and one at the bottom, those are their own system. And what it is, it's an exchanger. So those just run water next to the pipes that run the water here, and it absorbs the heat from it. So the water never gets crossed. So this water goes down through these pipes into the stove. So if the stove were into this boiler here, so if we were on gas, that's how it would heat that water. We're not on gas, we're on wood, so it just completes the circuit. The water comes out, goes up here through these pipes. Hard to see. This is the boiler holds tank system. Anyhow, then that water gets pumped throughout my house. My house is radiator style heaters. I know now the radiator system I have, it's a closed loop system. I have to bleed air out of it. I do that actually weekly. I always get a little bit out of the upstairs ones. The downstairs never get any, but before you start the system every year, I go around and bleed all the radiators. That is something I need to research. It seems weird to me that I'm always getting air in the system. So if any of you know anything about those kind of systems, maybe you can help me out there. You guys were great help on the other videos. So I don't know anything about this kind of stuff. We're all new to it. But so each room in the house, throughout the house, we have radiators, and that's how they get their heat, is from this setup here. I hope that explains everything. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. If you have anything to add, I would love that, because like I said, I don't know anything about this stuff. We're learning as we go. So if you know about these systems and you have something you can add, that I would appreciate that greatly. But otherwise, hope that was informative. For those of you that had questions about it, I hope that answers them. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask me, and we'll just go from there. Thanks a lot, you guys. Have a good day. Bye now.